we are excited to welcome, for the very first time on the show, E.K. Franks. He is in athletics administration at Southern Miss. I told you he needed a two-sided business card.
Read that whole title.
Executive Associate Athletics Director for Student Athlete Services. What does that mean?
Basically, I oversee everything that touches a student athlete.
Okay.
So, student development.
So you're saying you run the entire athletics department?
Nope. I got a great AD. Love him to death. So
I do too. All the respect in the world for Jeremy McClain. We can't even read your bio in the time that we've got. But you've got, EK, I'm so incredibly fascinated by your background. You told me, I'm going to try and summarize. Coming out of high school, you had an offer to wrestle and play football, college football, though maybe not at the same school.
Right, correct.
You ended up going to OU first, go to Oklahoma.
Yep.
All-American as a wrestler.
Got away from there and went to Missouri State, played football.
All right, so you
Jesse Branch.
Okay. Did that go well?
Went good. Just, in a good career. Came back to Oklahoma City. Finished my degree there. And started working at a strength training center with Pete Martinelli, who was the OU strength coach at the time. He had left OU. Learned underneath him. Went and started working in high school. Actually coached Wes Walker in high school then and was his strength coach. Left there, went to Kansas State.
Worked for Bill Snyder at Kansas State.
I was a strength coach, and then I wanted to coach.
Okay. And
Coach Snyder knew it. So what he does, stick me in the academics.
Thanks, Bill.
So I'm
sure he gave you one of those nice handwritten cards that he was famous for sending.
It was awesome. So he put me over there, and what he said was, hey, when they're not in there, you can be sitting in meetings. Okay. And that's what I did. Then ended up going to Texas State and coaching D-line there. And, of course, at Kansas State at the time, Brett Billman was there, and he went to Wisconsin as the DC. He got me to leave Texas State to come up there as a GA for him.
So you go to Wisconsin, and then you're on his staff at Arkansas.
I actually went to Wisconsin, got out of coaching for a while, got GA'd, and then got out.
Okay.
And then got back in at Delta State with Ron Roberts, Pete Golding, and that group. And
Jeremy McClain was the athletics director at the time.
That's where me and Jeremy met, and he had actually hired my future wife the year before, so I met her there.
Okay.
She's a Vicksburg girl.
Oh, now we're talking. Is she here?
She
was earlier.
Yeah, she's walking around.
All
right. And then that's where we all met. We went to Southeastern, the whole staff.
That's right.
Brett was looking for a director of recruiting and convinced me to come up to Arkansas.
Okay. So you leave Southeastern, you go to Fayetteville, and then from Fayetteville to...
We did a split second at Florida.
Like not there for a full season.
We were there.
Like Austin Armstrong at Alabama.
Mullins got there with him in January.
Okay.
And then by April, I went with Stoops to Kentucky.
So you led
the right choice there. Got off that sinking.
Yeah. Mark Stoops. And then
I was doing recruiting there, enjoying it. And, Jeremy and me always stayed tight. My wife actually and his wife were tight as well because my wife lived in a garage apartment above Jeremy now in Cleveland, Mississippi.
Wow.
And so we always and he said, hey, I got something at Troy. Come to Troy. Now, we had just built a house in Lexington, lived in it 8 months.
Oh, man.
And we take off to Troy, got there at the end of January, and he bought a house in March. He walked in about the second week of April and said, hey, I'm going to Southern Miss.
Oh.
And I said, what?
Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
8 months in one house would be a new record for Richard.
Yeah.
He changes them like we change socks.
He basically said, hey, give me a year, I'll get you there. And literally February of 20, we got there. I told him, I said, you're the only one who can get away with it because I get to bring my wife back to Mississippi. So, I love it. I love it.
I mean, you list that. It makes it sound like you're 80. I mean, there's nobody that can do all of that by then, but you only look like you're about 40. So I don't know where you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. What an incredible journey that ultimately has you at Hattiesburg, where you've been since 2020. You were telling me that you endured some things in that first year with all the stuff that was going on in the world and in college athletics, but you finally got into a place where you can kind of settle in, and there's a new home in the Sun Belt. And from the day that announcement was made, we talked about it on the show. It's like, this feels like the perfect fit for Southern Miss. So with one completed year in the Sun Belt, rolling into year 2, what does it feel like?
Awesome. Awesome. We love the Sun Belt. We love the Sun Belt. Like you said, it's the perfect fit. Our fans get some rivalries back. Our fans can come to everything. We have fans from other teams coming. It is been fantastic. Keith Gill's a great leader of the conference. It's
I thought
awesome.
He was phenomenal at Media Day earlier this week, kind of in talking about some of the big picture issues. Luke Johnson was on with us earlier in the week, and we talked about his address a little bit and said it was in response to a question, but someone had said, kind of in terms of strategy for attracting teams, so many of these conferences have chased media markets, and we chased fan bases.
That's smart.
That was the best comment ever. I was listening to it, and I was like, and that's him. That's him to the heart. We had meetings down there the week before, and we were talking, and he had mentioned, people keeps hitting him about expanding. He said, look, if it don't fit the footprint, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
When you think about this last year, and you correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but Southern Miss men's basketball, Sun Belt champions, women's basketball, Sun Belt champions, baseball, Sun Belt champions, another super regional down there in Hattiesburg.
They may ask you to leave after a year.
Cross country.
Did y'all
cross country?
Did Southern Miss coming into this conference? Southern Miss was a great athletic program. They always have been, but this kind of immediate success, has it been surprising to even you?
No, sir. It's Jeremy McClain. You got to remember, Troy was in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
He had this vision. When he came back, he had that vision to make that switch and try to push for it, especially with everything going on. And he knew the Sun Belt was a great fit for us and that we could be successful in the Sun Belt. And it's tougher in some aspects, but it's better. It is much better.
I don't want us to run out of time without talking about this new tractor trailer from KLLM. You walked up, you saw it in person, and I saw your eyes get big.
Oh, that is beautiful. Fans come on out and see it. It is awesome. We appreciate KLLM. We definitely appreciate Jim Richards. Knox. The Duff brothers. Darrell Walker's our driver. We appreciate all of them. They take great care of us.
And the truth of the matter is, you see equipment trucks all over the country, right? Every school has got some version of equipment. Most of them don't look like these.
Yeah, they don't pop.
Not at all. I told them, I said, being an old recruiter, I said, we're going to go start parking that out in front of recruits' houses.
What if you showed up on a recruiting visit in that?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
You remember we had the fad a few years ago where it was like the Freightliner truck or whatever, like Ashton Kutcher and some of the Hollywood guys had those.
Yeah.
What if you showed up in just the tractor front end?
You're getting a commitment.
Getting it. Well,
it certainly makes an impression.
And Richard tried to paint the picture and describe it. He didn't mention, though, and I just now noticed it, that the eagle eye on the
I hadn't
it's
seen
sneaky.
that.
It's sneaky.
That golden eagle eye, that is intimidating.
That
there. I like that.
Awesome. It is awesome. I tell people all the time, we win the truck contest hands down.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
Eye of the beholder, but yes, it looked outstanding. Absolutely great.
That's why I said it looks good.
I love it. I got
good.
you.
EK,
let's not go overboard.
EK, we got a minute left in this segment. Tell me a little bit more about Jeremy McClain. You said earlier, big fan. I'm a huge fan of Jeremy McClain, but you said a couple of things that reminded me. He plays his cards pretty close to the vest.
Yes, he does. He is. I learned from him and I tell him it's the pitcher in him. I said baseball players know where they're going with the baseball before it's hit to them.
Yeah.
They process everything, and that's how he makes his decisions. he processes everything. Where me and wrestling is reaction, or football was reaction. It's been great for me just to help me change my thought process on decision making, because he looks at every angle, who's it's going to affect, how many people it's going to affect, and his decision making is right on.
We're just days away from the start of camp. Don't you wish you were putting on those pads and getting out there in this heat and doing it one more time?
No, I like where I'm at now.
Maybe just with a whistle at least, you know.
Maybe